In order to understand the twisted path that John Wayne Gacy would eventually embark upon, we must first delve into his early life and the factors that shaped his journey towards darkness. From seemingly innocuous beginnings, Gacy's life took a turn that would ultimately lead to a reign of terror and the loss of countless innocent lives. Born on March 17, 1942 in Chicago, Illinois, John Wayne Gacy seemed like any other child. He grew up in a middle-class family, with parents who provided for his needs in a seemingly normal childhood. However, beneath the surface, there were early signs of the darkness that would come to define him. Gacy's relationship with his father was strained, marked by emotional and physical abuse. His father, who was an alcoholic, often belittled and demeaned Gacy, instilling a deep sense of inadequacy and resentment within him. This tumultuous relationship would leave a lasting impact on Gacy's psyche, setting the stage for the horrors to come. As Gacy entered adolescence, he began to exhibit troubling behavior. He showed an interest in death and violence, often engaging in the mutilation of small animals. These early signs of sadistic tendencies were met with little concern from those around him, who dismissed them as mere youthful curiosity. Little did they know, these tendencies would only grow and fester over time. Despite his troubled inner world, Gacy managed to maintain a facade of normalcy. He excelled in school, even becoming involved in various community organizations, including the Junior Chamber of Commerce and the Jaycees. Gacy's charisma and charm masked the darkness within, allowing him to build a seemingly successful and respectable life. However, beneath the surface, Gacy's desires and urges were becoming increasingly difficult to control. He began to explore his sexuality, often frequenting gay bars and engaging in casual sexual encounters. It was during this time that Gacy began to experiment with his newfound power and control over others, setting the stage for his future crimes. In 1964, Gacy married his first wife, Marlynn Myers, and started a family. On the surface, it seemed like Gacy was on the path to a conventional and fulfilling life. However, his inner demons continued to grow, driving him to engage in increasingly dangerous and deviant behavior. As we delve deeper into the psyche of John Wayne Gacy in the following chapters, we will explore the pivotal moments and experiences that propelled him towards his descent into darkness. From the breakdown of his marriage to his growing fascination with sadomasochism, we will uncover the gradual unraveling of a man who would go on to become one of America's most terrifying serial killers. As John Wayne Gacy's dark desires continued to consume him, it was only a matter of time before he found himself entangled in a web of criminal activity. In this chapter, we will explore Gacy's first brush with the law and the events that would serve as a harbinger of the horrors to come. It was the year 1968 when Gacy's world began to unravel. His marriage to Marlynn had deteriorated, and Gacy found solace in his growing involvement in community organizations, particularly the Jaycees. Little did he know that this seemingly innocent connection would lead him down a path of destruction. Gacy's charisma and charm had endeared him to the Jaycees community, allowing him to rise through the ranks and become a prominent figure within the organization. However, behind closed doors, Gacy's dark desires were growing stronger, and he began to act upon them. During this time, Gacy started to hire young men for odd jobs and construction work at his contracting business. It was through these interactions that he discovered a new outlet for his sadistic fantasies. Gacy would lure these young men into his home, where he would subject them to torture, sexual assault, and ultimately murder. In 1968, a young man named Donald Voorhees, who had been working for Gacy, accused him of sexually assaulting him. This accusation would prove to be a turning point in Gacy's life. He was arrested and charged with sodomy, but due to a lack of evidence and coercion of the victim, Gacy managed to escape conviction. The close call with the law only seemed to embolden Gacy, fueling his belief that he was invincible and untouchable. He continued his reign of terror, targeting vulnerable young men who were often overlooked by society. Gacy's ability to manipulate his victims and maintain a facade of normalcy allowed him to remain undetected for years. In the following chapters, we will delve deeper into the twisted methods Gacy employed to trap and control his victims. We will explore the psychological tactics he used to gain their trust, as well as the chilling details of their final moments. The story of John Wayne Gacy is not for the faint of heart, but it serves as a grim reminder of the depths of human depravity. As the darkness within John Wayne Gacy continued to consume him, he transformed his own home into a nightmarish lair where he would carry out his sadistic desires. In this chapter, we will delve into the horrifying truth behind Gacy's House of Horrors, and the unsuspecting victims who fell prey to his twisted fantasies. Gacy's home, located at 8213 West Somerdale Avenue in Norwood Park Township, Illinois, became the setting for unimaginable acts of violence and depravity. Behind its seemingly ordinary facade, a labyrinth of secret rooms and hidden chambers awaited those unfortunate enough to cross Gacy's path. The transformation of Gacy's home began with the construction of a crawl space beneath the house. This sinister space would serve as the burial ground for many of his victims. Gacy meticulously designed the crawl space to facilitate his murderous acts, installing a trapdoor and a network of tunnels that allowed him to move undetected. Gacy's ability to present a facade of normalcy was crucial to his success in luring victims into his lair. He would often portray himself as a kind and generous individual, offering job opportunities or promising to help with personal problems. Once inside his home, victims would find themselves trapped in a nightmare from which there was no escape. The methods Gacy employed to control his victims were both physical and psychological. He would often handcuff or bind them, using the element of surprise to overpower them. Gacy's charisma and manipulative tactics allowed him to gain their trust, making them believe that they were safe in his presence. The horrors that unfolded within Gacy's home were unspeakable. Victims were subjected to sexual assault, torture, and unimaginable acts of violence. Gacy's sadistic tendencies knew no bounds, and the suffering inflicted upon his victims was both prolonged and agonizing. The true extent of Gacy's crimes would not be fully known until his eventual capture in 1978. By that time, the bodies of 29 young men had been discovered buried beneath his house or discarded in nearby rivers. The shocking revelation of Gacy's reign of terror sent shockwaves throughout the nation, forever staining the quiet community of Norwood Park Township with the memories of unspeakable horror. In the following chapters, we will explore the painstaking efforts of law enforcement to bring Gacy to justice and the tireless work of forensic experts to identify the victims and provide closure to their grieving families. The story of John Wayne Gacy serves as a chilling reminder of the depths of human depravity and the enduring legacy of his heinous crimes. With the revelation of John Wayne Gacy's horrific crimes, law enforcement agencies launched a relentless pursuit to bring him to justice. In this chapter, we delve into the race against time to stop Gacy's reign of terror and the challenges faced by investigators in capturing one of America's most notorious serial killers. As news of Gacy's crimes spread, the community and law enforcement were gripped by fear and outrage. The disappearance of young men, coupled with the gruesome discoveries beneath Gacy's home, created a sense of urgency that demanded swift action. The investigation into Gacy's crimes was complex and multifaceted. Detectives meticulously combed through missing persons reports, interviewed witnesses, and analyzed forensic evidence to piece together the puzzle of Gacy's dark secrets. One of the biggest challenges faced by investigators was the sheer number of victims. Gacy had managed to evade suspicion and operate with impunity for years, leaving a trail of bodies in his wake. Identifying the victims became a top priority, as their families desperately sought closure and justice. Forensic experts played a crucial role in the investigation, utilizing advanced techniques to identify the remains discovered beneath Gacy's home. Dental records, DNA analysis, and meticulous examination of skeletal remains helped bring names to the anonymous victims, providing a measure of solace to their grieving families. The net began to close in on Gacy when a young man named Robert Piest went missing in December 1978. As the investigation unfolded, Piest's disappearance was linked to Gacy, leading to the issuance of a search warrant for his home. With mounting evidence against him, Gacy's days of evading justice were numbered. On December 21, 1978, law enforcement descended upon Gacy's house, prepared to confront the monster within. What they uncovered was a house of horrors, a place stained with the blood and suffering of Gacy's victims. The capture of John Wayne Gacy marked the end of a reign of terror that had gripped the nation. Gacy's trial, which began in 1980, captivated the nation as the full extent of his crimes was laid bare. Witness testimonies, forensic evidence, and the chilling details of Gacy's sadistic acts painted a picture of a man devoid of conscience or remorse. Ultimately, Gacy was found guilty of 33 murders and sentenced to death. His execution on May 10, 1994, brought a sense of closure to the victims' families and marked the end of one of the darkest chapters in American criminal history. The legacy of John Wayne Gacy serves as a reminder of the importance of vigilance and the tireless pursuit of justice. It also highlights the need for improved systems to identify and intervene in cases of potential serial killers before they can inflict further harm. The horrifying crimes of John Wayne Gacy left an indelible mark on the community, the victims' families, and the field of criminal profiling. In this chapter, we will explore the profound and lasting impact of Gacy's atrocities, examining how they continue to shape the collective consciousness and influence our understanding of serial killers. The community of Norwood Park Township, once a quiet and peaceful neighborhood, was forever scarred by Gacy's presence. The revelation of the horrors that occurred behind the walls of his house sent shockwaves throughout the community, shattering the illusion of safety and trust. Residents were left grappling with the realization that evil could lurk in even the most ordinary places. The families of Gacy's victims faced unimaginable grief and loss. The discovery of their loved ones' remains brought a mix of relief and heartbreak as closure was finally attained. But the brutal reality of their fates became painfully clear. The scars left by Gacy's actions continue to haunt these families, leaving an enduring impact on their lives. Gacy's crimes also had a significant influence on the field of criminal profiling. The meticulous investigation and forensic analysis of his case provided invaluable insights into the minds of serial killers. Gacy's ability to maintain a facade of normalcy, his manipulation techniques, and the hidden depths of his sadistic tendencies became subjects of intense study, informing future efforts to identify and apprehend similar offenders. The case of John Wayne Gacy highlighted the importance of improved communication and collaboration among law enforcement agencies. It exposed the need for a centralized database of missing persons and unidentified remains, leading to the development of national systems that aid in the identification and resolution of such cases. The legacy of Gacy's crimes also spurred a renewed focus on victim advocacy and support. Organizations dedicated to assisting the families of missing and murdered individuals were established, providing a network of resources to help them navigate the difficult journey towards healing and justice. In popular culture, Gacy's story has served as a cautionary tale, a chilling reminder of the depths of human depravity. Books, documentaries, and films have sought to capture the horrors of his crimes, offering audiences a glimpse into the mind of a serial killer and the devastating consequences of his actions. The impact of Gacy's crimes extends far beyond the boundaries of Norwood Park Township. It serves as a somber reminder that evil can exist in the most unexpected places, and that we must remain vigilant in our efforts to protect the vulnerable members of society. To truly understand the depths of John Wayne Gacy's depravity, it is essential to delve into his psychological profile. In this chapter, we will explore the twisted motivations and dark forces that drove Gacy to commit his heinous acts, shedding light on the mind of a monster. Gacy's psychological makeup was complex and disturbing. Born on March 17, 1942 in Chicago, Illinois, he exhibited signs of abnormal behavior from an early age. As a child, he showed a fascination with death, often performing crude experiments on animals and displaying a lack of empathy towards their suffering. One key aspect of Gacy's psyche was his profound need for control and power. He derived pleasure from dominating others, exerting complete authority over his victims. This need for control manifested in his meticulously planned murders and the construction of his labyrinthine home, where he could manipulate, torture, and ultimately snuff out the lives of young men. Gacy's ability to present a charming and affable facade to the outside world was a testament to his manipulative skills. He used this facade to gain the trust of his victims, luring them into his clutches with promises of employment or assistance. This mask of normalcy allowed him to continue his sadistic activities undetected for years. Sexual sadism was another prominent aspect of Gacy's psychological profile. He derived pleasure from inflicting pain and degradation upon his victims, often engaging in acts of torture and sexual assault. The combination of power, control, and sadism fueled his insatiable appetite for violence. Gacy's actions also displayed elements of narcissism and a desire for notoriety. He relished in the attention his crimes garnered, reveling in the fear and shock they instilled in his community. His arrogant belief that he could outsmart law enforcement and continue his killing spree without consequence further demonstrated his narcissistic tendencies. Thank you for joining us on this chilling journey into the heart of darkness. Until next time, remember, the face of evil can sometimes wear the friendliest of smiles.